Okay, fine. I'll talk about the Dragon Knights. The end of September story event was The Lion Stirs, the 11th event in the Dragon Knights plotline. Yeah, it's been 11 already. Let's start by analyzing the importance of the Dragon Knights for Cygames as a company, to help elucidate why they have such a lasting presence. Granblue is a mixed gacha when it comes to its characters. And what I mean by that is that we get both guys and girls as selling points. I could point to other gachas like Blue Archive and Azure Lane as girls only gachas, while Token Rumble and Twisted Wonderland are examples of guys only gachas. This means that Cygames is looking to please both those who love the girls and those who love the guys. From observation alone, it's easy to reach the conclusion that these two groups have a different approach to their gacha behaviors. My reading of the situation is, while they try to sell girls by quantity, they try to sell boys by consistency. Yeah, Granblue has definitely fewer boys than girls, but the few popular boys are so popular, and Cygames go all in on them. These are the results of the latest Famitsu popularity poll from March 2024. In the top 10 favored male characters, all 4 of the main Dragon Knights made it. We also have the entire cast of the gay archangels there. And you can use this other list as reference. Which characters got the most Valentine's and White Days orders? All Dragon Knights also made it to the top 30 overall, including both boys and girls. So yeah, the Dragon Knights are the second most popular group of dudes in the game, just behind the gay archangels. But their narrative construction is so much easier to work with than the high specs, astral planner, greater than mortal comprehension one that Sandy and Co have going for them. Which explains the 11 events, 2 character albums, and plethora of merchandise. But Ducky, if they are so popular, then why does everyone seem to hate their story events? You might ask. The short answer is that being popular and being well written are 2 completely unrelated things, and while the Dragon Knights are definitely popular, they are not well written at all. Now, for the long answer, let's take a look at the timeline of events. We started in 2014 with Defender's Oath, and had 1 new event every year. But actually, 5 of these events are useless. I'm not going to be too harsh on the first 3, because you know how weirdly Granblue writing was. But they are basically just an extremely big and stretched out character introduction. This meeting could have been an email, Gary! Welcome to Bistro Fendrace, and Siegfried would also fall into the useless category for me. It wasn't until The Savior of Dalmor that the writing team probably decided what they wanted this plotline to be. Everything prior feels like just a bunch of completely random and unrelated occurrences, as if they were throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. Divergent Knighthoods is awkward because it definitely is still a part of the random occurrences era, but they decided to make it retroactively relevant by focusing on the whole Arthurian legend aspect. But if you look at what this event actually did, you would agree that this is, again, simply an event that could have been a Fate episode. This means that the current Dragon Knights plotline only has 5 events. Okay, 5.5. And what exactly is the current Dragon Knights plotline? Well... Suddenly there was a terrorist group called the Cabal, trying to do something with the ley lines of Dalmor. The concept of ley lines was never mentioned before this. Then we went full Arthurian legend out of nowhere with the Excalibur. This is verbatim the Excalibur legend. What even happens in To Witch His Ideal again? They introduce Merlin as the supposed big bad leader of the Cabal? By telling us nothing of his goals or ambitions and just that he pissed his pants one time? Wait, what do you mean that was at the last event? You would think that we would talk more about the Cabal, the big organization behind the completely random assortment of occurrences in the last 4 years. No, surprise surprise, there are dragon people now. No, not dragon newts, a different kind of dragon people. And they are mad because of something that happened so long ago no one even remembers or have any records of? And now there's like two whole new countries on the islands, and they're both at war with Fendrache, but also with each other? But no, that was actually false. They are buddies, and they are teaming up with the Cabal to destroy Fendrache for their sins that we know nothing about. And the event ends with a cliffhanger and no extra explanations. Look, I'm trying my best here. It's so hard to explain what is going on in the Dragon Knight's plotline, because it's not a cohesive story. Even if we focus only on the Cabal-centric events, they still have no clear direction. Okay, pause. Editing booth Duck here. While looking for footage for this video, I ended up doing a somewhat deep dive into the more recent events. And this quick partial rereading showed me how little attention I actually paid to these events. Let me explain. In retrospect, lots of things from The Lion Stirs are actually foreshadowed in prior events. The ending of the Siege of Hilbergriff is told in The Strength to Wield, also explaining why Arthur and Mordred have sudden surges of memories. Cruz have a very revealing interaction with Rowley at that same event. Lots of names that seemed random on my first reading of The Lion Stirs are actually mentioned in these two events. So, what I'm trying to say is that there is definitely a long-term plan being executed, and I was definitely selling them short with the state this video was beforehand. At the same time, I'm not cutting anything from the original script. Don't get me wrong, I still think that the story is a mess, with its first half being completely unrelated to what is going on right now, and the whole Cabal thing simply being not explained at all. Think about it now, I realize I forgot these small foreshadowing details, because the Dragon Knight storyline itself programmed me to not care. For literally 10 years now, they have been throwing these ominous flashbacks and name-dropping things and places that are completely irrelevant and unrelated to the topic at hand. By now, we learned by repetition that we should not worry about these things. They never show up again, and they never make any sense whatsoever, so I was trained to simply filter them out. This is very clearly a script problem. The writers were trying to make a story that felt super smart at the end, with the whole "see, I've been telling you the truth this entire time" gimmick. But what they ended up delivering was simply a bunch of extremely confusing segments that made no sense at the point they were delivered, and so spaced out between them that you can hardly piece them together. Mystery can be done in a cool way, but the line between the aesthetic of the unknown and alienating your readers is thin, and whoever is writing the Dragon Knight's events got on the wrong side of the rope. The mystery of the Cabal doesn't feel fun, it simply feels frustrating because of the unanswered questions. The next part of the original script was exactly about said unanswered questions, so I'll just leave you folks back to the past Ducky. That said, the Dragon Weeps Before Daybreak is still completely unredeemable. That event makes no sense even in hindsight. Okay, now back to the OG. Every new event just adds to the pile of unanswered questions, and it never ever answers any of them, be it prior known ones or newly added ones. What is the Excalibur? Why has no one picked it up before? Where is the sheath? By the way, what even is the sheath? How big is this island anyway to have so many kingdoms in it, to the point we don't even learn about 2 of them until 7 years into the story? Just how far back did this Avalon thing exist to the point of it being completely removed from history? And why fairies and magical beasts are seen as things of legend, when literally every single one of these countries have a pet magical cat in their backyard or in their lakes? Also, Sylph is modeled after a fairy, so the Astrals had to know about fairies. And we know so much about the Astral era, how come the knowledge vanished in such a short period of time? Why is Arthur suddenly a royal and apparently has dragon blood? What makes Merlin so obsessed with his former master to the point of dedicating his entire life for a 15 years in the making vengeance? Why does Mordred have green eyes when the event very clearly states that the ear was an Erun with blue eyes? What has Lamorak been up to in the last 5 years, and where is his depressed girlfriend? What even is this mysterious black mist that is now suddenly the culprit for every single bad thing that ever happened but didn't exist until 3 days ago? And I'm sure there's more stuff I'm simply forgetting. With the way the Lime Steers ended, I'm like 95% sure they want to finish this Cabal storyline in the next anniversary event. Oh no! Wales has fallen! And then rolling credits is their attempt of mimicking the Cassius revelation at the end of Spaghetti Syndrome. But let's be honest, the delivery here was more of an instant noodles disorder. There is so much going on that I don't think even a really big anniversary event would be enough to answer all the questions in a satisfactory way. You know, like Seeds of Redemption. If somehow, some way, they manage to glue together this Frankenstein of a plotline into a cohesive ending that actually pays off the 6 years of active mystery and development without feeling forced or as pulled, I'll be the first one to issue an official apology. I've said this many times before, but I really like the story aspects of Granblue, and I want them to be good and fun to read. I'm not out here hoping to see a dog water event just so I can be a little hater, so I'm hoping they actually manage to do it. Will they? Let's just say their historic is against them. Gotta say though, Vayne is a good character. The only good scene in this event was his emotional moment. Sadly, Lancelot was there as well. And that's it for this video, thank you all for watching. I finally said my 2 cents about the Dragon Knights. That's my main issue of the plotline, so now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments what you like and dislike about them. Anyway, this was Ducky, and I'll see you all later.